Good morning and welcome to the video for Friday, May the 8th. This is for 6th grade, and today we are working with box plots. The idea is, now that we've figured out how to find the median or middle value, we are going to take that and extend it a little bit further to find the middle value of the upper and lower ends of our set of data. And so the lower quartile is going to be the median of the lower half of the set of data, and the upper quartile would be the median of the upper half. So I've taken some time to go ahead and write everything out as we go through our lesson. So you can pause the video, double check, and make sure all of your numbers are put in order. So that you can go ahead and keep up and work along with me. So to start with, for our unlock the problem, we already have our numbers in order from least to greatest. So we are going to be looking at our middle number, which is going to be the fifth of 9 numbers, and so that is going to be 42 for our median. And so that's going to be one of the numbers that we're working with. If we were to have an even set of numbers here, then we would need to go ahead and grab between 35 and 47 if that 42 didn't already exist to find our median, and then we would use our top 4 numbers for the lower quartile, bottom 4 numbers for the lower quartile and top 4 numbers for our upper quartile. So we can go ahead and find that 30 is the number in between, 30 would be the number in between, so we could add these together to get 60. I normally just kind of find what the middle number is. So instead of doing this 50 plus 60, once you get the hang of it, you can figure out that 55 would be the center number there, because 110 divided by 2 would be 55. And so our median is going to be 42, our lower quartile is going to be 30, and our upper quartile is going to be 55. So as we move forward, we would take that information and go ahead and put it in our box plot. So our box plot is going to start with our lowest value for our data. Then we would use our lower quartile, our median, our upper quartile, and our highest value. And then we're going to draw a box around that from the lower quartile to the upper quartile, and then we draw a vertical line through the middle to represent the median. So let's go ahead and try that. So using this example that's on our second page, we are going to go ahead and take the values I've already written in order for you. I've drawn this little line to indicate that our median is going to fall in between these two numbers, and then as we work, we are going to have 5 numbers that we're going to factor together for our lower quartile and 5 for our upper. So we can go ahead and know that 24 is going to be the number in between 23 and 25. For our lower quartile, we would use the number 21. For our upper quartile, we would use the number 33. And we are again just getting that because that is the middle number in that particular set for that set of data. So our number line, we are going to start with our lowest value, which is going to be 18. And I'm going to try to draw this above. We're not going to draw it exactly on top of it. It looks like I put it on 19 instead of 18. I probably need to zoom in. My eyesight's not that good and it's late at night. So 21 is going to be our next number that we plot up here. Then we are going to have our median, which is 24. Our upper quartile, which is going to be 33. And then our highest value, which is going to be 38. And so what we are going to do is draw a hopefully rectangular box through here, draw a vertical line from top to bottom here. I missed just a little bit to the left, but that should be on 24. If you're doing this with a pencil, it should be infinitely easier than me trying to use my mouse in theory. And so I've just gone through what step 3 says. So again, we're going to draw a box from the lower to upper quartile. We're going to draw a vertical line segment down through where the median is. We're going to draw line segments to connect out to our highest and lowest values. So let's go ahead and take a look at our share and show questions. Again, this first one, it's already kind of done it for us. And then the rest of these on the page, I've went ahead and written things out and circled things that we are going to take a look at to help. So if you need to pause the video at any point in time to get caught up, please take the time to do that. It actually took me longer to find all of these things in order and write them out than it does to actually do the real work that we're practicing. So don't feel bad if it takes you a few moments to do that. Go ahead and pause, write everything down. Trust that I took the time to do that correctly. So for number one, we already have everything written in order. So we have 11 values. So we can count over to our sixth one to get our median. We are going to take the center of our left set of 5 and the center of our right set of 5 to get the other two numbers. So the lower quartile will be 78, upper quartile will be 90. For this particular set of data for number 2, 51 is going to be our median, as it would be the fifth of 9 numbers. And then for our lower quartile, we're going to be looking in between 48 and 50, and so that would give us 49 as the number that falls between there. And then the number that falls between 60 and 62 for our upper quartile would be 61. And so number 3, as we go ahead and make a box plot, I'm going to zoom in just a touch here. This is going to be our lowest value. Our lower quartile would be at 49. Our median is going to be at 51. Our upper quartile is going to be at 61. And then our highest value is going to be at 65. And so I may change the color here real quick just to make it hopefully a little bit easier to see what's going on. And then we draw our vertical line through the median and draw our line segments to extend out to our highest and lowest data values. And so for the on your own, number 4, I've went ahead and written everything out in order. I was struggling to find room because my pen size on this is already the smallest available. So our median is going to be exactly 25. So I'm going to draw a little line that connects that into there. So 25 is going to be the median. Excuse me. And we are looking at these two numbers, and the center of that would be 22 for our lower quartile. And for this pair of numbers, our median for that would be 46. And so that would give us our upper quartile. Looking at number 5, I'm going to scoot this over just a little bit because, again, we have a line that extends out quite a ways. And so we have 3, 6, 9, 10 points of data. And so we are going to go between the 5th and 6th number, which would be these right here. And so our median is going to be 58. Our lower quartile is going to be the center of these 5 numbers. And our upper quartile is going to be the center of these 5 numbers. And so this will be much easier to find. So 49 is going to be our lower quartile, and 64 is going to be our upper quartile. And then if we were to draw out a box plot for number 6, which is what they want us to do, we can go ahead and put all of the numbers in order. Our center point would be actually 19 for the median. So I'm going to go ahead and put that up there. Our lowest value would be 8. Our highest point would be 30. I know I'm doing this slightly out of order. Now what we are looking at would be, we have 6 on this side, we have 6 on this side. So we would count over, and so here would give us our lower median, which would be our lower quartile, and so that would fall at 11. And then our upper quartile would fall between 26 and 28, which would give us a 27 for that. And again, we are going to draw our rectangle from our lower to our upper quartile, draw a vertical line segment down through the median and extend out line segments to reach our highest and lowest values. So for number 7, this will be the last one that we're going over before we just do a quick talk through of the homework. I went ahead and put everything in order. So one of the things that you are going to notice as we go through this is there is a mistake. And so we have the lower quartile, we have the median, which would be 22, we have the upper quartile. What we are missing is the highest and lowest point. So what we should have, if we do this correctly, would be to have a 5 here for our lowest value and a 37, which actually extends out past what we have available. So that would be potentially another mistake that was made. So it should actually look a little bit more like this. And then again, our median is 22. Our lower quartile would be 9, and so it looks like we had that one correct. And then our upper quartile should be, looks like 28. Yeah, so 28 would be the center number between 25 and 31. So it looks like everything else was correct. There was a little issue with not having enough space to get out to our highest value, and then we didn't draw either or represent the highest or lowest values on our box plot. So for the homework Risen Christ students, I'm going to ask you to do the even numbers. So for number 2, all we are working with is just giving the median, the lower quartile, and upper quartile. For number 4, I will figure out a way to represent that. What I might do is actually make some pictures and then ask you to choose which one is actually correct based on having putting these numbers in order and then finding the median, the lower quartile, and upper quartile. Number 6 is just asking for the value of the upper quartile, and for number 1 and number 2 on the back, again, we would talk about where we would draw the box. So the box is going to go between the lower quartile and the upper quartile, so I would expect that you give me the numbers that match both of those, and then that would be the representation of how the box would go. It would go from this number to this number. And then for number 2, give the lower quartile. So for other homework, for my students that are watching this that are not Risen Christ students, number 3, think back to when we were working with statistical questions. A statistical question has to be something that could be represented by multiple sets of data. So that's kind of the framework that kind of kicked off all of this stuff working with dot plots and finding the median and so forth. So if we're just talking about one person or one type of data, that is not going to be a statistical question. So keep that in mind as you do that. And then again, for number 5, we're going back a lesson or two. Think about what our median, that would be this number. What would be our mean of the data set if we took that away, or what would the difference be? So it says, how much does the mean change? So find the mean with all 5 numbers and then find the mean without this number there, and that would give you an indication. And then for number 6, there may be more than one correct answer. So sorry for the length of the video. I've tried to make it as short as possible by dropping out several minutes of trying to figure out where the numbers go and everything so that we could work through that. I hope this has been helpful for you, Risen Christ students or anyone else finding this through a Google search. This is a complicated lesson, and honestly, the concept behind it is easy enough to understand, and being able to draw the representation of the data in a box plot is easy. The part that's hard and the part that's tedious is taking the time to make sure that you accurately line up the numbers. I think that's actually the most difficult portion of this entire lesson, because an error there gives you an error with your answer, and so that attention to detail takes a little bit of time to do, and that's the time-consuming part, more so than understanding the concept that we're trying to teach. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me via Google Classroom if you're one of my students, or reach out to one of your classroom teachers if you are finding this in a different way, and ask them for suggestions, what they would suggest to make this process a little bit easier. This is my first time teaching it because I've primarily been teaching third grade math, and so this is my first year having to teach sixth grade math as well. So I may learn in time different ways that I can explain to make it a little bit easier. I think trying to find the middle number instead of working with adding two numbers together and then dividing ends up being an easier thing for me, and that's something that you guys should hopefully be able to accomplish to save just a little bit of time as you're working through that. So again, please reach out to your teacher if you have any questions. Hope you have a great day. The homework video for this will come out at 6 p.m. tonight. So I will see you in that next video, or I will see you next week.